Hello, world. Welcome to Queering Science, Theology, Philosophy, Spirituality, and sorry, Queering Science, Theology, Philosophy, and Spirituality, where we discuss spirituality, theology, philosophy, and science with an LGBTQ perspective. And today, um, uh, we are going to discuss the news, especially the breaking news from Kenya, whereby the High Court, refused to decriminalize gay sex. And we're going to give a religious, a philosophical, a spiritual, and a, a scientific interpretation of what has happened in Kenya. And it's a sad day for us as a center, but we are still hopeful because we have what you call the Court of Appeal, and we can go there and appeal. But security wise, we keep our eyes open, and you do not cause a lot of fracas, and you do not let people attack you in any way, and you keep your friends. The friends you have are the friends you know, and anybody you associate with, any new person, you know how to associate with them. And you have always, I was telling somebody, take care of yourself. Much as the government takes care of you through the police, you also need to take care of yourself as a human being. So now we are discussing. I just want to look for a screen that cannot disturb me. So we are giving our religious interpretation of what has happened in Kenya, and you have to understand. Something about. Sorry about I had to pick a station in the Sahara Desert. Yes, you see where I put it's going to look for a station, but I don't think it's going to find. Hopefully it won't make noise. Okay, sorry about that. I just like this application. It's a very nice, what do you call it? A very nice globe. Now, back to what I was saying. I'm not going to, I've discussed it in Rex Arthur, but in the secular way, secular interpretation of what happened. And of course, I didn't go to the details. Law is you can talk about it forever. Law is so wordy, and you can do interpretation. So I've not done that. I just touch on small things to make people understand what it was all about. So it's about to repeal. To repeal means to remove a law. I think I have to I have to close this application. It's hilarious. There was something wrong. The waves, it picked up on a station and it's still looking for them, and it's making some funny noise. Okay, we've left it. Don't worry, we can go on even if that noise is still there. Now, to repeal a law is to remove a law, and is to remove a law that goes against the Constitution. So that is what we as LGBTQ persons wanted. We want to remove that law that goes against LGBTQ persons. Now, I was even talking to my LGBTQ members in the community, and I was telling them what has happened has changed the environment, and our lives will never be the same again because of that. You see, the sound disappeared. The app was on. Can you imagine? Your phone is a radio. It can pick waves. Wonderful. So, I was telling my friends that the life has changed because now people know they're LGBTQ persons in Kenya. But I have not seen Kenya is a bit peaceful when it comes to LGBTQ issues compared to many countries in Africa, like Nigeria. You know, Nigeria, it's very. Imagine if such news was in Nigeria, they will just look for you. Like the time when they started legislating against homosexuality in Nigeria, they were attacking any gay they found, and even till today, if they know you're gay in Nigeria, you can be killed through mob justice. So, but Kenya is okay. It's not that bad, though there are some spats of violence even after this judgment happened. That's why we are taking a bit of a break. We are not going to talk so much like we always do. And but in that silence, it's a silent protest. Silent activism. Sometimes you just say, we keep quiet and we wait. And so, as we are preparing for the appeal, we won't do many videos. We will take a break, and that break I'll be busy researching and coming back with a bang when the Court of Appeal has seen sense in the repealing of that law. And now I want to give the religious interpretation of it. Why is a religious entity looking to repeal a law that its religions do not support? What time is it? Let's see. We are can I remember this one? No, Mercury. Wow, look at this. The time of Mercury for talks, lectures, speeches, dialogues, intellectual pursuits, learning, teaching, studying, writing, communication, transportation, ideas, conferences, correspondences, contracts, discussions, criticisms, editing, information, instruction, language, literature, traffic. Best time for movement, being responsive in general, thinking, talking, I'm talking now, writing, making physical, mental, spiritual, emotional connections, filling in the blanks, offering services. Worst time for administration, disciplining, training, stiffness, and close and preservation. Sorry. So there we are. It's almost 8:30, so the discussions are almost ending, and then we're going to end to the moon time, and it's going to be a time for meditation and isolation and domestic families, fertility, nostalgia, relaxation, tides, subconscious, receptivity. Worst time for compulsory work and cooperation. The moon calls us to be ourselves. Okay, we are used to this. So we are under Mercury right now. So Mercury, feel the air, and that's what we're doing. So the religious interpretation of the case is very varied. And first of all, there are Christians, many religious people oppose homosexuality outrightly. They don't do it and they don't want it. Then you have Christians and religious persons. Sorry, I'm so used to Christians. Even Muslims. By the Muslims, they do engage in Section 162. Much as Christians. Yes. And the second group of religious persons, they don't advocate for the gay sex and other sexual activities other than vaginal penile, VP or PV, they they don't advocate for them. They don't say that they should happen, but they do them. So that's the second group. Then the third group is religious people who say that please help the LGBTQ persons, we support them, and they also do it. They're LGBTQ. Now, that's my group. I belong to group 3. So, what are we seeing? This is QSTPS: science, philosophy, theology, spirituality. So, they are scientists who are in group 1. That is somebody who does not support homosexuality. Yes, there are scientists who are homophobes. Please understand that. They are there. And then there are scientists in group 2. These are scientists, they don't advocate for that type of lifestyle, but they do it. Yeah, they keep quiet. You see, they don't tell you. They're not like us who have channels that we are LGBTQ. No, they don't have that, but they do it. Then the third group is the scientist who is LGBTQ and works to repeal any laws that are against them. So you can see, put yourself in all those groups. Now, that's what you need to understand about life. You know, some people will tell me, of course, there are pastors who support LGBTQ persons, but they are not LGBTQ. Those ones are what we call allies. They are not LGBTQ, but they support LGBTQ persons. Those are allies. Same to scientists, philosophers, and theologians. But in group 3, they are pastors who are LGBTQ and they support decriminalization. And that's where I am. And I'm with many other ally pastors and LGBTQ pastors. I go to an LGBTQ church. And I'm very happy with it. Because it is what I believe in. I believe God is the God of everybody. And Jesus died for everybody. And the Holy Spirit is in everybody, irrespective of their sexual orientation. I'm telling you, you better eat that forever, because that's the truth. I am a believer of animism, that God is everything. God is here. He's in this world. He's everywhere. What it means is that he can come anywhere. And when I mean God, I'm not talking of religious specific God. I'm talking of cosmic power. Because personally, I've not met him. Yes. I know I've had a dream that I was in his throne, but how sure are you it was him? Maybe it was another one entity who happens to have a throne. You see? And even if I had that dream, he didn't tell me he's God. So it's a benefit of doubt, cosmic power. So all I know, the cosmic power is everywhere. And that's why I say science is God. Now, let's go back to the case. Now, the case is to repeal the law. Now, there are Christians who are fighting and don't want LGBTQ rights in their country. Now, how do you explain those Christians or religious persons? Sorry, not just Christians. You can even have Muslims, Hindus who are homophobic. They are there, but they're few. Now, how do you call those people? These people have, in their religion, they value their religion more than a country's laws. These people value their religion more than the country's laws. The ones who preach against people, and in our case, LGBTQ persons, and they don't want the law repealed. You see? So these are people who value their religion more than the constitution of the country. Now in group 2, these are religious persons. They engage in sex. They are a bit liberal, and some of them are even LGBTQ. But they don't attack LGBTQ persons. So they're in group 2. So what does that mean about them? They are constitutional. They don't put their religion above the country's laws. And that's how you should live. The best group for me, for somebody who is not LGBTQ, is group 2. Because that person is neutral. He is not supporting the side, but he's not fighting a person. You see, you can say, okay, you're LGBTQ, fine. Okay, you live your life. Or you're going to court to get your constitutional rights. Okay, go to court. Or you've got them. That's good. Now live your life. That is the ideal religious person we are hoping to see. The one who understands that there are different lifestyles, there are different cultures that should be allowed to thrive in our country, as long as they're not attacking you. And this is what's happening even in America right now. America, the Democratic Party has made a bill, the equality bill, that is going to stop discrimination of gay people in the country. Now, the Republicans are not in the House of Representatives. There are very few. So the bill sailed like nothing, very fast. Now the war is going to be in the House of the Senate. Now the Senate are Republicans. And the evangelicals, because most of them who fight gays are evangelicals, they are saying we will shoot down that bill with the so-called religious freedom. You know, that if you are gay, I can use my religion to discriminate against you because my religion doesn't support you. You see, that's the problem we have. That's group 1. Group 1 logic is my religion is number 1. It's more important than the constitution of the country. And that's wrong. That is what happened in the Masterpiece case. The Baker used his religion to discriminate against these people. And so the Supreme Court if you ask me, that was the most complicated case to ever judge as a judge of the Supreme Court. Because there are people, as a judge, you ask yourself, this guy, it's his shop. He doesn't want to sell to you. But it's the constitutional right of that person to come and ask you to make him a cake, irrespective of who he is. But this guy is saying, I will not bake you a cake because you are gay. You even come with your partner. No, I won't. So, but the judges too, in my view, I support the judgment, even though it went for the baker, because when you are in business transaction, hold on. When you are in business transaction, you can choose whom to sell to. Willing buyer, willing seller. It's never willing buyer, non-willing seller, or non-willing buyer, willing seller. It can never work. Business, both of you must will to transact. So, because in this case the baker did not want to sell, the gay couple could not enforce that contract. We've entered the moon. It's just right now. You saw the change just happened. Here and now. Okay, so the baker, so now discussions, we have to decrease on them. And they don't take these things so religiously. They're just by the ways, just touch them. Okay, by the way, it's the lunar time. But I don't collapse if I continue discussing. Go on. So the baker was not willing to sell. The buyers, the gay couple, were willing to buy. So that one, the case couldn't go through. You see. But the principle is they are religious businessmen who value their religion more than money. I remember a hotel whereby they could not even admit a man and a woman without marriage certificate. And I was like, what? How is it that you cannot accept, marriage certificate of somebody? I mean, why do you need a marriage certificate to admit someone to a hotel? Why would you need to do that? Why would you need to do that? You see, it's because of your religion. Your religion forces you to lose business because you are thinking of adultery instead of money. Because a liberal businessman doesn't care what you're going to do in the room. You've bought the room. You've paid for it. Go. So that's what happened. And I laughed at that. There are very many hotels like that. And the best thing you do, of course, you I don't make noise about those hotels. What I just say is, you know what? Go to the next one. And this is what I wanted the gay couple to do that time. But they tried. It's good they took it to court. It was a very good case to decide on, and it went that way. So I'm now trying to show you how religion, different people are controlled by religion. Now the LGBTQ group 3, which is where I belong, you're LGBTQ or you're an ally and you support LGBTQ persons. And these ones are also constitutional, but the problem we face is you are in a country or you are in a place whereby the religions do not accept, they have a different interpretation of homosexuality. Because believe you me, if the Bible said homosexual relations are okay, you see, it's supposed to be written like that, would we be having these discussions? You see? And that's what I'm telling you. The problem is interpretation of the Bible. Yes, it's interpretation. It's not the Bible, it's interpretation. It's not the Quran, it's interpretation. It's not the Bhagavad Gita, it is interpretation. So, I am in a church that supports LGBTQ persons, and we do not see being LGBTQ as a sin. Yes, it is not a sin to be gay. I repeat, it is not a sin to be gay. The law Moses wrote, which also confused Paul, was not based on science. Yes, it was not based on science. It was based on emotions. That's what he wanted. Secondly, the law of Moses was the constitution of Israel. Ancient Israel. Because right now, they don't use the law of Moses. Thank you so much. I love Israel for one thing. They don't use the law of Moses as the national law. You know, Israel is a civil and religious country. All countries are civil and religious. Civil meaning secular. Then religious means when you are in your religious space, the religious authority takes over. And this is the problem we are having in Africa. People have taken sides in their religions, at the same time working in secular spaces, civil spaces. And this is dangerous. It's dangerous because your theology can poison the government that is supposed to be secular. It's still powerful. And when we do our sabbatical, we are going to even study the temporal power and I used to know them often, and I can't remember the church. Let me get it easily. Hoping I can remember. I have forgotten the church power, but you have temporal power and maybe spiritual power. Yeah, so temporal power is a term of art in medieval and early modern political philosophy to refer to worldly power as contrasted, yes, with spiritual power. Now, even in Rome, the Pope has temporal power. The Pope has where he rules. He has worldly power, and he also has spiritual power. It designates the political and secular influence of the Holy See that is jurisdiction of the Pope of the Catholic Church, as distinguished from the spiritual and pastoral activity. Good. I don't need to go deep into that. Now, so there is temporal power and spiritual power. So Israel, right now, modern Israel is more based on temporal power. That is secular power. Now, when ancient Israel started, there was no temporal power. The temporal power was spiritual power. It was Moses, it was a theocracy. Kenya is a democracy. Uganda is a democracy. America, people think America is not a democracy. It's a democracy. Yes, let's do it. And I show you. I was arguing with a friend of mine, and he was busy telling me that America is not a democracy. And I was like, no, it is a democracy. Let's look at this list of democracies. Only 19 countries are still full democracies. Are you seeing? Top most democratic countries are Norway, Iceland, Sweden, New Zealand, Denmark, Canada, Ireland, Australia, Switzerland, Finland. America was just downgraded from a full democracy. So what does it mean? It was a full democracy. Let's read that. In 2015, it says that the number of full democracies was 20, but now it has fallen to 19 thanks to the US. The country's score fell to 7.98 in 2016 from 8.05 in 2015, and anything under 8.00 is not a full democracy. Want to kiss these guys. Well done. The unit states is because of a further erosion of trust in government and elected officials there. The downgrade was not a consequence of Donald Trump. Rather, it was caused by the same factors that led Mr. Trump to the White House. A continued erosion of trust in government and elected officials. So people are not trusting their politicians, and this has led the country to become not a full democracy. Wonderful. We'll come back to this page, and we're going to do, you can see how sabbaticals become so sweet when you have very many things to read. And so we're going to do that. And look at that. Only 19 democracies are full democracies. So Moses, when he made those laws, which influenced all the Bible writers, it was when Israel was a theocracy, not a democracy. And this is where we are. Many Islamic countries are theocracies, but they feign democracy. In a democratic country, fully democratic country, everyone is given their rights. You see? I want to show you something. When I was analyzing what happened in Kenya, I decided to write. And I did my homework. And I was trying to understand the world. So I want to show you my notes. So you see, these are my notes here. It may not be clear. And I drew the government and the arms of government. And I drew a circle saying, calling this the LGBTQ persons. Every country has LGBTQ persons. All the citizens are in that spectrum. Everyone. Some citizens are lesbians, some citizens are bisexual, some citizens are gay, some citizens are transgender, some citizens are straight, some citizens are intersex, some citizens are asexual, some citizens are queer, some citizens are pansexual. Everybody has a sexual orientation. That's what I mean. That every country is LGBTQ. Yes, everyone has a sexual orientation. And majority of the countries have straight people followed by bisexuals. That's the reality. Then the lesbians and gays come. Then the transgenders. Then the intersex. Then the asexuals. Then the pansexuals. You see, the weirder the orientation, the fewer they become. So, I was showing you my notes, and I was drawing the arms of government, and how all of these persons, all these LGBTQ persons plus, they go and seek justice to the government, to the judiciary. Another place they can go and seek justice is the legislature. They voted these people. That's why in America, now you're having gay congressmen, lesbian congresswomen, bisexual congressmen and women, transgender congressmen and women, because the people are diverse. They have accepted their diversity. This is why Trump, in my view, will need to sign that law, or he may avoid signing it. He may play veto, because the people who put him in power, they don't like accepting LGBTQ rights because it goes against their religion. They're in group one. And some of them in group two. You know, they tell you, we don't like gays, but they do it. The Ted Haggard group. You know, we don't like gays, but they do it. Yes, those are the people who are behind Trump right now. I told you where I am. I'm not in group 1 or 2. I'm in 3. And I because mine is based on interpretation. When I read the New Old Testament, I don't believe that Moses is applicable today. Yes, he's not. It is irrelevant. It's outdated law. That's why I told you Israel does not support that law that Moses passed on homosexuals. They actually allow same-sex relations. So we go to the government. You see? Everybody has a right to go to the government, which has 3 arms. All of these people. So what has happened today in Kenya, or this month? Kenyans have gone, LGBTQ Kenyans, not all of them are LGBTQ, majority are in the plus, but the LGBTQ Kenyans have gone to the judiciary to seek justice. Now, that justice has been denied by one court. So, that denial of that justice is still injustice, because the rights of LGBT people have not been given, and we are supposed to get them from the judiciary. So what is the lesson? The lesson is, if you are in a theocratic society or a theocratic system, the religion of that area takes over. So that's why it's a very big battle. Not battle of violence, though sometimes there can be violence because of such positions, but battle because of ideological battle. How we win it is through theological interpretation. That's why QSTPS is here. It is to teach people the theological interpretation. theological interpretation. And interpretation is diverse. Those who believe in literal interpretation think that Moses' law must stay. And that's what has happened in Africa and in the Arab world. They are still staying with Moses. But to stay with Moses doesn't mean you obey him. It doesn't mean you obey him. To stay with Moses, you can say, okay, we won't do it, but you do it. That's what happened in Israel forever. And that's what happens in Africa, that's what happens in Saudi Arabia and in the Arab world. People's religious books tell them, don't do this, but they do it. And they like it to stay that way because they believe they already have a pass, to go to heaven. In Islam, do you say the Lord's I want to accept Jesus Christ as my personal Lord and Savior for you to go to heaven in Islam? No, you just be a Muslim. Just follow the Shahada. Follow the 5 pillars of Islam. You are going to heaven. No need to say prayers to Jesus. You see? So, and they keep on sinning, but they are doing the 5 pillars, so nothing is wrong. I'm going to heaven, even if I'm having gay sex. So that's how Islam is. That's why it's very hard now to deal with them until the religion is reformed. Now come to the Christians. Now in the Christians, there's a bit of a battle because you have some Christians who are LGBTQ, but they stay in homophobic churches. And then you have Christians, who are the majority, who do not engage in gay sex and do not want it to be decriminalized. So that's where the war is. It is, how can we educate these ones who don't have gay sex and they don't want it decriminalized? How do we educate them? Because these people value religion more than the government. They value religion more than the constitution. What I mean, when I mean government, I mean constitution. Yes, because you can have a theocratic government, like what's happening in America. Yes, Trump is being led by evangelicals. They lead him. That's what's happening. I told Trump on Twitter, please stay with scientists. They are better. They are not biased, you see. Religious people are biased. And because you will give someone your interpretation of the scriptures, you will tell them, because remember what Ahmadinejad used to do in Iran? He really believed the Mahdi was coming. And so he said, the Mahdi is here, so I have to bomb America. Because when I bomb it, the Mahdi will appear. That was what drove Ahmadinejad. If he stayed in power, today we would be in a different world. Because of his apocalypse, his apocalyptic thinking. So that's what you need to understand as is happening in I'm giving the religious interpretation of gay sex laws. Now, I want to show you, let me go to my theological Facebook, Aquarian Philosophy. I changed it from Aquarian Pastor because I wanted to give myself freedom. So the reason what I mean by freedom, I didn't want to remain in the pastoral closet. I chose the philosopher's stone, to the pastoral pulpit or the imam's pulpit, because if I put myself in a religious cosm, I will be limited. Well, not limited. I will. The title pastor disturbs very many humans, because when I had put it as gay pastor, one of my friends told me, you know what? I don't think you should do it that way, because people will be questioning and sometimes not even listening to what you are saying. So I gave thought to what he said, and I said, yeah, I don't think I should call myself gay pastor, and that's what I did. Now, I want to show you something small, and then we've ended the video, to now explain to you, so that this whole decriminalization of gay sex in the religious side is not a battlefield. No, we're trying to destroy this narrative of fighting. I am here to dialogue even with homophobic pastors, or pastors who don't understand gay people. That's why we are here. We are not coming with combat. Now we slash you, and like what Elijah did and killed the prophets of Baal. No, that's not what you do. If I was Elijah, I would say, hey guys, I won, but you take it easy. Go and continue doing your worship your God. If you want to worship mine, you can come. So that's what I'm telling you. Elijah was so aggressive. He killed. After the fires come down for your God, why do you kill them? But he was a very angry man. You know, when you look at Elijah, he's just a funny prophet. Anyway, not talking. Let's go to the album. There's an album where I put these pictures. So sorry I can't find them with ease. There's a way you do it. Okay, I've got it. I've just got it. Thank you so much. Facebook is an album. Cancel. There's a way you do it very easily on Facebook. Yeah, that's better. So we'll finish it very well. Too naughty. Okay. So this is my Facebook page, and for the QSTPS, you can come and be friends with us, Aquarian, Philosophia. Good. Is it this one? Nope, it's not that one. I put it somewhere. God is still speaking. Let's see if it is here. So I wanted to show you where religious centers are when it comes to the LGBTQ life, and what the LGBTQ community can do, and the LGBTQ leaders can do to those churches and the mosques concerning LGBT, the long-term approach. We are going to do a long-term approach how to deal with the LGBTQ persons. Okay. I really hope I get that photo. Yes, I think it's here. Yes, it's here. And then we're done. Good. So let me close it so that you can focus on the thing. Now, our church has arrived at Canaan. We are affirming. So Canaan for us is the affirming position. So the church is on a journey, and you can put the mosque is on a journey, and the temple is on a journey, and the synagogue is on a journey. Now, many religious centers are in the red. They are anti-gay. We don't want you here. You are going to hell. So, many of these, and the ones who belong to this one are the ones who are on the forefront, attacking attacking LGBTQ persons and other minorities. Then the next group is a welcoming. Any religious center that is in group 2 is what you call a welcoming religious center. A welcoming mosque, a welcoming church, a welcoming temple, a welcoming synagogue. And in the welcoming position, they are saying, come in, sit down, and listen. And after you've come in and sit down and listened, they are saying, if you let God change you, then you can go to heaven. So few of them are there, but it is not, they have not arrived to Canaan. Then you have the accepting religious center. So this is the accepting mosque, the accepting church, the accepting temple, the accepting synagogue, and even the accepting family, the accepting home, the accepting school, the accepting university, the accepting workplace. And this is what they say: come and stay, but you must be celibate, meaning never fall in love or have a relationship. And their answer after you staying there is, I think you'll get to heaven. I'm a little confused about grace and works. So these people are still confused because people, they think they don't understand religion. Religion is grace. It's not works. Because works does not take you to heaven. It's a fact. Because if works takes you to heaven, then Muslims are going to hell, because they don't do what Christians do. If works take you to heaven, then Christians are going to hell, because they don't do what Muslims do. If works takes you to heaven, then Jehovah's Witness is going to heaven, and you are not going, because you are not doing what Jehovah's Witness is doing. So most people who are living in accepting, they still think religion is about what you do for us. If you are told to do this, then you are ours. If you don't do this, then you are not going to heaven. That is wrong. Is not sound. And the last station where we are, and where we are calling every religious center to come into, is affirming. In an affirming mosque, in an affirming church, in an affirming temple, in an affirming synagogue, this is what they say: you and your partner are welcome here. Be a part of our community. What gifts do you bring to serve God and our church? The kingdom of God is among us. What you have done to the least of these, you have done to me. So that's the response you get from an affirming mosque. That's the response you get from an affirming church. That's the response you get from an affirming temple. That's the response you get from an affirming synagogue. And that is what we support. And we believe every religious center has to go through this journey of affirming to affirming, because affirming is the answer to all religions, because that's the truth. God is in everyone. And even if you don't call him God, the cosmic power is in everyone, because everything is found and is sourced from the cosmic